Welcome to the Constructor introduction video. In this video we're going to introduce you to the basic features of the Constructor. Over here right now in our main diagram area, this is where you'll design and test your circuits. Currently we have an existing sample diagram loaded for you. Over here on the right we have being currently displayed is our active help system. And this system will be there to help you learn the program as you go along. So as you're moving your mouse cursor over different areas, the active help system will adjust accordingly and give you some information based on the area that you're currently hovering over. On the top of the split screen we have a couple different tabs currently displayed. If we click on our ladder diagram here, it's just going to show us another view of what's already being displayed over here on the main screen. This is just here for the convenience if you want to zoom out on one area and have another area on this left over here zoomed in. You can certainly kind of see the full diagram view over here and more of a closer zoomed in view over on the other side. If we open up this split screen a little bit more, you'll see this button here. It's to synchronize the window. So if that's clicked and it'll be displayed in green. As we move along over here on the zoomed out view, you can see over on the left there it's moving the diagram accordingly. Some other zoom controls that we have up here for just zooming out to the width of the diagram. It'll quickly bring you out there. We can zoom to the entire extent of the entire diagram, zoom to just the entire width of it. We can just manually zoom in and out with these controls as well. We have another feature. If you just hold down the control button and drag your mouse to an area that you want to zoom into, it'll just automatically zoom into that area for you too. And the other tab up here is the Properties tab, and this tab will display the properties for like your drawing objects and stuff. So if I draw a text box and just type something here and then select it, we have the properties that we can change the text, change colors on boxes and drawing objects and things like that, do our alignment and everything that we need to as far as the properties go. We have a few other tabs that you have options for. If you go to Set Tabs, you can add more tabs. You can display a workbook area, notes, a simulation script, a simulation log. If we click on the workbook, basically it'll display information in the project that you include. So if you go over here to the workbook section, this is where you'll add text and other information for the workbook. And a feature that we have in the workbook is to be able to display active links. Down here we have some links that you won't be able to see if we were to click them here, but if we go to the ladder diagram and that workbook is displayed, as we turn that on back into simulation mode, now let's just zoom out here. So as I click this toggle link, you'll see that it toggles the safety switch up in this left corner over here. If I press the start button, you'll see the start button activated. So just some different things that you can do as far as for educational purposes, to be able to do some instruction and things like that. And at any time we have several sample ladder diagrams that you can open and look at. So if you go to File and choose Open Project, and we have several different diagrams that you can pull in. To start a brand new project, just go up to File and choose New Project, and we can use the default settings, and they'll just start a blank page for us. And you're automatically set up with a 3-phase PowerPoint set here. And to add wires, just simply click on a dotted line, and then to add a symbol, what you would do is you would click into the symbol box. You could right click in the symbol box, and we could add, in this case, let's just add a coil here. If you want the symbol library to be displayed at all times, you can click up here, and then it'll keep the symbol library open up here for you. And we can just add, let's say, a switch. Add a couple more wires. And we'll click on a contact over here. And then we will add, let's say, a light. At any time you can change how the PowerPoints are being displayed, so we can right click on this and we can change it, convert it to a single phase 2-wire set, and then we'll just drag this PowerPoint over. To drag any symbol you just left click and then drag, and it'll move in between the different grid boxes here. You can also move a large group of objects if you just hold down your left mouse button drag to an area till it's highlighted, and then you can drag that around into the different area. And above each symbol, we have some text boxes available that are included, so we can click in that box and we can type in a description for it. And then we have, you can use these boxes above the symbol too and below it for terminal ID and wire ID if you'd like as well. Here we have a contact. I'm going to zoom into this area. If I hold down my control button and highlight to that area, I'm going to right click on this contact and I'm going to choose assignment. And in here it will give a list of objects that I can assign this contact to. Currently we have this standard relay. I'm just going to click on that. We have the option to choose whether we want it to delayed or instantaneous. We're just going to keep it instantaneous and choose OK. And as soon as these objects are assigned to one another, if I move my cursor over them, you can see they highlight, as well as they also have a number that describes what group they're a part of here. So now if I were to zoom out a little bit, and then go and run this. Now when I click the switch, you'll notice that that contact will change states as soon as that coil is activated. And then that light will also react as well. And you'll notice the power flow color here. We've got red on this side and blue on this side. You can change that as well at any time. If you just go into right click the PowerPoint here, we can go to change the power flow color. We can change this to a different color here. Let's try green, and then it'll take effect the next time you run your simulation. If you were to have some objects created in the constructor that you didn't want to have to keep redesigning and drawing every time, let's say we had a couple drawing objects and stuff that were included as well. Let's just draw a couple objects here. Just change this real quick. Alright, and you wanted to have all this included together in a template. You can highlight that area that you want to create a template out of, and then right click and then choose save as a template. And we'll just do a test here. And then the next time you start a new project and you want to include that template, you can easily just right click and insert template, and then we'll go to that test that we were at. And there we have that entire group that we just saved there. And back to our symbol library. We have a few more things we can show you in here. You also have the ability to zoom in and out of your symbol library if you want to display more symbols, or you just want the symbols to be larger. If you hold in your control button while moving your mouse scroll wheel up and down, you can see how it'll zoom in and zoom out. The other option is to use these control keys up here, but it'll be just easier to use your control button and your mouse scroll wheel to get it to a nice size that you'd like to view here. On your wires, you can choose to have either drawing dashed connecting wires or solid. We'll choose the dashed here, and you can also change the color of your wire. So if you want it to be displayed as a different color, let's just go a blue wire here. And then now as we draw this dashed wire, you'll notice here it's being displayed in the color blue. Change it off dashed, and now we have it solid here. We can highlight, hold our left mouse button down, highlight an area, and we can easily delete an area as well just by hitting delete. And back under our symbol library again, we have the option to add. You see some different tabs broken down into categories already for you. If you want to add your own tab, you can certainly add a new tab and name it. You can also search for certain symbols just by simply typing in what you're searching for. So if we type in switch, whoops, this one is under the electronic. If we go to all, that'll display all our symbols. And we type in switch here, and now it'll bring up all switches. We can do, let's say, coils. And here we have coils, motors. But again, we do have several different tabs already kind of displayed up here for you for your convenience. If you desire to edit and create a symbol of your own, If you decide to do a brand new one, you can go to File and choose a new symbol. And this will bring up the different symbol classes that you can use. We have inactive classes with multiple wires, and these ones, as far as being displayed as inactive, means that there just will be no simulation value associated to it. If we scroll down, you'll see your switch class. So let's say you were to click on a switch, click OK. It'll bring you up a blank screen here where you can simply draw a symbol in here. And we have another video that you can watch on being able to edit and create your own symbols here. And we have the symbol properties. And then when you're finished, you just go File and hit Save As, and that symbol will appear in that library. As you hover over the different symbols, you'll notice the animation will be displayed as far as what it will do during simulation as you click on those objects and they react to other objects. And up above on top of our menu here, we have the grid layer visibility, so you can choose to have your grid layer visible or invisible. You can choose to show your drawing layer here. We can lock that. This one over here was to lock the grid layer. So if you have that locked and you're doing different things and you try to highlight and move, it's not going to allow you to move anything out of place. So this might be useful if you're drawing over the top of your diagram and you don't want to accidentally move and select different parts of your diagram. And over here we'll actually turn that diagram off. So the only thing that's being displayed now is just your drawing layer, so you can move and draw and do different things on that. Here we have sound effects. You can display the sound effects channels. And here are a bunch of default sound effects. You can add different sounds to the symbols. There's some default ones that are already included. Here we have our Edit Legend button here. And if you hit Add a Legend, you can choose to include a legend with your diagram. Let's just add one with a picture here. And then you can adjust the different fields as you click into the fields that we provide for you. You click on the picture, you can click to change a picture, add your own picture in there, and then you can save it as a new legend and you can include it into future projects. In this program, we also have the ability under this wire menu to generate automatic wire numbers, and you can choose for a couple different options as far as how you want them to be automatically numbered. You can adjust wire colors. You can clear the unlocked wire numbers and the locked numbers. If you include wire numbers in here and you generate those, they'll actually be displayed in the wire label field. So in this case, along your wire, you'll notice that the box is being displayed above the wire. On a vertical, you'll see it to the side. Your wire numbers will actually be displayed in those boxes. Up on the top menu, under Help, you can go to the CMH Software website and you have access to the Constructor Learning Center, which will display several videos that you can watch. You can email technical support, the Internet Download Wizard. You can check for any updates that we might have for patches and stuff. Under the index, this will display a searchable help file that you can browse and get information on different things on how to use the Constructor. Under Tools, you can print a diagram technical information. Under Draw, it's basically the same thing that you have access over here if you were to click on the symbol. Under Wires and Components, under PowerPoints, you can add additional PowerPoint sets. Under Transformers, we can add different transformers as well. So if you notice up here, transformers just applied. We have modules such as generic PLC-IO modules and terminal strips. So if we just choose to add a terminal strip, we can just click on, let's say, this 3 terminal. And it'll be displayed in here, and that will be there for your use as well. Under Options, we have ladder diagram options where you'll be able to change the font. You'll be able to adjust your legend. And under Options and then Environment Options, we have displayed here some settings that you can adjust for how your environment reacts. So you have a snap to grid. You can adjust your grid spacing, the color schemes in the program, as well as how the wires are being connected. So if you have a cross connection here, we can choose to have a dot. You have this how it's displayed for when it crosses over another wire. And down here you can choose to have the load last diagram option selected, which will just automatically load the last diagram you're working on, or you can start with a new diagram every time you start the program. And then under project options, here you can adjust owner information, add permission settings for the particular file, a password even if you'd like to. Under change diagram size, this is where you'll adjust the size of your actual diagram. And when your project's finished and you'd like to print or export, simply go to File and you can choose Export the Ladder Diagram. You can choose a DXF, DWG, you can choose different image files like say JPEG. Under PDF, we can choose to export to a PDF file. And this will just currently display how the PDF will be displayed. And then back under File and then Print, we can choose to print the diagram or even the documents in the workbook section that we had up there. If we print the diagram, if it's multiple pages, you'll have multiple pages being displayed here. You can choose to set the page options, and you'll have to include a legend on this section. Typically, if you didn't have a legend, it'll just be none. If you added a legend, you'll want to make sure that you check either the bottom of each page or the bottom of the entire diagram. And then you just click whether you want to have the print pen to be fine, normal, or heavy. And this concludes our introduction video for the Constructor.